Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Before the Valley. Hello, Nikolai. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hello, how about you?
I'm not bad. It seems like it's been a long time since we last done this. So
It is. I think it's been around 2 months. Last time we recorded, it was. I went back to Bulgaria.
Yeah.
It was like 1 month ago, so it was around 2 months.
Yeah. So why did we delay it so much?
So we recorded an episode which is not yet out, but eventually it will be with it's a special episode. I'm not gonna review more, so stay tuned for it. But there are some technical issues around it which stopped us from editing it, which is why we said, okay, let's move on and record another episode until we fix out the other one.
Yeah, exactly. And I would also add to this that there's been a lot going on in both of our lives, especially with the businesses that we're dealing with. And we kind of deprioritized this, but we thought, now it's probably the best time to get back to it and also update you, I guess, on what we've been doing, but also just have a good time talking.
Yeah. Cool.
And the giveaway from last time.
Yeah, that's the special part of every single episode.
Yeah.
So, from the giveaway that we're running every single time, as you know, we had only 2 participants. And these participants are people that, have been following us for some time, or like Koyan, close friend of ours. And what we decided is...
Yes. We decided to give 2 books instead of 1.
Yeah.
And give 1 to each of them,
Yeah. So, Stefan and Coco, congrats guys. So, as you can see, commenting on the videos leads to a very high chance of you getting a free book. And who doesn't like free books? I mean, I won one recently from Explora, the company that I work with. We had an Among Us tournament. Cringy, but who won? Me. I have never played Among Us before.
The best liar. What can I say?
Yeah, I was the imposter so many times, so I was able to stack the points, and then, who won? Yeah. Rashi, I was called Rashi, so because of Rashford, who scored a hat-trick. But yes, so we're giving away 2 books, and we have another giveaway for this episode, so for next time, which is gonna be something that we're gonna launch, we're gonna release it in the next 2 weeks. It's not gonna be with another delay. And the question is, or what you have to comment, is who is your role model, or somebody who you really aspire of, who you admire. It could be, for example, who's yours?
Oh, Elon, that's the first line.
This is the one I was thought of. Not, for example, for me right now, it's it has been for a while Tim Ferriss, a person that I really try to learn the more that I can from. So who's this person and why? I mean, it could be various reasons, and we're really curious to see what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also tell us why he's your role model, just like a short paragraph or even a sentence of why you admire him so much, or her. And we can start with the first point for today.
Yeah, cool. Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, as we discussed last Saturday, I think it was, every single week when we meet, we're going to discuss something that we've learned. We thought that this could be from books. We thought it could be from podcasts, or from anywhere else. So, what's that one thing that you have learned and you would like to share?
Well, one thing would be... Well, there are a few things, but I think we can leave the second thing for later, which is related to the energy levels throughout the day that I told you about. But something else I learned recently, and it's from Jocko Willink's Extreme Ownership book, is decentralized command, and how the SEAL teams manage their teams basically when they're on missions. It was very interesting because they go through a special training where each of them is trained to lead. So you don't have just one leader of a team, but everyone is prepared to take command if it's necessary. And also what's really interesting is the size of the teams. Usually the size of the teams is up to 6 people, so it's 4 to 6. And why that's also interesting is because my corporate job, the company I work for, when I started working for them, they said the same thing. We found out that 6 people, managing a team of 6 people, is the best for our company. So there actually is something to it, it seems. depending on the manager's experience and I guess what he learned during the courses that we have. They would assign different number of people to them, and 6 seems to be the optimal option. So Jocko Willink was explaining how he worked with this bank. I'm not sure if it was a bank, but it was either an investment company or a bank. So they had a few branches across the US. He was saying their president was a very smart guy. He was very good at, managing people. But what he didn't realize is that some of his branches had managers of 20, 21 people.
I see.
While other had managers of just 2 people. And he asked him, okay, like, what do you think about this? And he was like, yeah, I think that's very rational because some branches have more clients and the managers there are more experienced. That's why we have so many people, while where you have like junior managers, we just have 2. But then Jocko Willink asked him, so what has been the experience once the branches grow? Do you notice the same exponential growth that you initially see in these branches?
With a small team.
Yeah, exactly. And the guy said, actually, no. Actually, we see this stopping at a certain point. So that's when Jocko Willink explained this whole story of him managing 2 people, and each of these people in his team, in his sales team, managing 6, and how successful that is. He has multiple stories in the book. But yeah, that's just an example of how managing 2 big teams can lead to, stopping growth, and then you have to reconsider that. So I found it quite interesting because you put the responsibility, the accountability on each individual, and try to split them as much as you can. And each of them can manage the chaos on their own terms. So let's say on the battlefield, if you have someone staying stationary, far from the team, trying to tell you exactly what to do, micromanaging, then you would obviously have he wouldn't be able to do this. He would fail. So that's why you put the responsibility on each individual person. It's the same in my company. And I think that's the best way to operate. Just everyone having their
own
responsibility, making their own choices. Yeah.
All right. That's an interesting point because I think that's just different types of management of companies, because like originally the bureaucracy of having a leader, then to have middle managers below, and then to have subordinates who like fully follow the orders. But if you think about it, if you have everybody to have his own responsibility, there's a chance for this person to have some improvements, to feel that what he's doing belongs to him. He has like this extreme ownership, as the book is called.
Yeah.
So they might push for additional results, extra results, because they know that it all depends on him or her.
Yeah.
So therefore, like, this is where I see that the exponential growth could come from.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, like also the idea of that you are trained as a leader, and those above you, yes, they can save you if stuff get tough, but you're the one who bears the responsibility first of all. So you have to somehow, if let's say you're in a corporation, your campaign, let's say in your case, starts going down, it's performed very bad, who's responsible for taking control of it? It's not your manager, it's you first of all.
Yeah, exactly.
So therefore, like, you are gonna react faster, you're gonna think, okay, how can I solve this, before waiting for somebody else to come in and save you.
Yeah, exactly. And 2 lessons from this book that I want to add upon this is, well, the problem with this, what the president of this bank brought up to Jocko Willink during their training was that sometimes complicated decisions, like complex information, might be lost. It's the same as, the game where you whisper into each other's ears, and at the end you get out a completely different message.
Yeah.
So that's what was his point. Like, if we have too many levels, then until the information reaches the bottom level, it would be distorted. But what Jocko Willink answered to that is one more principle from the book, which is simplicity. When you're explaining people what your mission is, why you're doing a certain thing, it has to be as simple as you can. And that's how the SEALs operate, the army operates. They're trying to make it as simple as possible. And another thing that he brought up, very important, is the front line, the people at the bottom, they need to understand why they're doing the thing.
Yeah.
So if they understand why, the reason for the whole mission,
yeah,
then they can make the right decision, because even if they change their approach, it would still be towards the same goal. So two things is simplicity and people understanding the why of the mission that complement this management style, which is decentralized command.
I love that, like especially the simplicity point, and like the other one is also crucial, but the simplicity one is that what you can do is, as a manager, you can have this piece of information, send it to the people below you or like your colleagues, and expect from them to understand what your point is. And if they don't, it's your fault. It wasn't presented in a simple way which could lead to what you wanted to. So therefore, simplicity is key thing. And like the other one is that the people below, they need to know their end goal. This is from Facebook, once again, referring to this, that they had this one KPI that they wanted to follow. And everything around this company was guided by this one KPI, which was it retention or more users? I don't remember.
It's probably time spent on I'm not sure. It might have been retention, But
like whatever it is, it could be like retention of users or time spent. So if it's time spent, what you're going to do, you're going to have those triggers around the platform to increase the time spent.
Exactly.
But it's like everybody is done with this one main goal, which everybody has in mind. I love that. And just to briefly touch on who's Jocko Willink, like, because
Jocko Willink, he used to be, I think, I'm not sure he might have what his level was, but I think it might have been a lieutenant in the US SEALs department. So he has his own podcast. We can link that up as well. Where he invites top performers to discuss stuff. So he has a lot of experience in very extreme situations. So that's why he's a good example, I think. And also something funny, like the way on the simplicity point, how he described it to his to the front line. It was basically before a mission, he would just like get them all in a room and he would just say, make sure you shoot at the bad guys. For example, if it's a hostage rescue mission, that's the only thing he would say, make sure you hit the bad guys. That's the only thing, because that's the focus of the mission, not don't kill the hostage.
Like he would have said it, make sure.
Make sure. Exactly. So that's something I kind of learned and kind of was impacted by this week. I think we can go to the second point, and something I wanted to ask you is, because I know you started journaling recently. I just wanted to learn more about your experience with journaling and how are you finding this and what have you learned?
Cool. So like I shared with Peter today that I journaled for the first time, and I've been thinking about it for a long time. I think it was last year when it was Eric Schmidt, he was CEO of Google, I think, who said that every single week he just dedicates 1 or 2 hours of the day during the weekend, most usually, because it's when it's not that crazy busy. He just sits down and thinks, and he journals. He thinks, okay, what did I do this week, or where am I going, where am I heading? And it just gives you this moment of peacefulness that you can really think of what's going on. And now I remember that Naval or Ravikant, he's also speaking about it. Sometimes he goes outside and thinks, like thinking about himself. And my experience with journaling was very, very good. The first thing that I said to Peter was great experience, because, I just sit down and I was writing stuff, thinking about them, then stop writing, thinking about something else, about my life, what direction I'm going. And it gives you a bit more clarity. You see where you are, your state of mind, and what you want to focus on. But it's like a snapshot of it was a snapshot of, like, it was my first time doing it. So it covered a bit of a bigger period of time, so I had to go back to my goals and what I'm doing. But I assume if you do this every single week, you can focus on your week, like what did I do, like anything that really stood out. For example, you had an argument with somebody, what happened, you felt very bad during this argument, and it just gives you a lot of clarity. That's, I think, the main thing. And after my journaling today, I was like, okay, I need to do this. Like, these are my next steps. I need to really focus on doing X, Y, Z, and this is how I'm going to achieve it. And it was just a very good experience. But
I wanted to ask, would you say you felt more motivated after doing it?
Yes, because like sometimes, especially now when we're doing so many stuff, working on Kaleo, podcast, Explora, my job, which is like 6 hours now per day, it's not 4 anymore. It's like so many stuff, and you get lost sometimes. I'm like, shit, like I have to do much more stuff and I don't have the time. I'm panicking. I'm like feeling the sense of urgency. and then you stop and you see the clear line of where things are going, and just you see the end goal, I would say. So it's something that motivates you.
Yeah, exactly. I asked because I remember this Nietzsche quote. I might misquote him, but the idea was your why. If your why is big enough, it can overcome any how.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Very
so,
good quote.
And the thing is, when you get involved into the chaos, the everyday day-to-day chaos, you often forget why you're doing stuff. And I think that's very important to have to think on your direction, where you're going, and just kind of visualize it, which motivates you to do more. And we've talked about visualization and how I think Jim Carrey was just like driving in rich neighborhoods, just seeing the houses and imagining that it's his house. And this was driving him, this was pushing him to do more. He was very good with visualization. So it's I think part of journaling is exactly that, like seeing where you are and where you could be if you continue doing these things, and then that kind of charges you. So I think that's a great benefit of journaling, on top of mental clarity, as you brought up.
Yeah, and also like because we often forget what we have. Like it sounds cringy, I think, but there's like this 5-minute journal of Tim Ferriss that what are you grateful for?
Yeah.
So you have everything that's happening. You might not be having the great success now, but look what you have, and you appreciate it. You're like, oh yeah, damn, I like this, everything that I've had. And we brought this up in the in the podcast that we recorded, the amazing things jar. That whenever you achieve something good, you put it in this jar, and this is kind of like, okay, I'm grateful for all these achievements. I'm feeling happy. I'm not as, I don't know, like depressed, disappointed by a failure of the day. And like in the long term, this gratitude, I think, is something that really can push you even to achieve more.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it's also I find that when I start thinking about stuff like this, you always go back to stuff that you're missing on unintentionally, like family, for example. Every time I start thinking, I start thinking about my family, and then I call them just to hear how they're doing. Or you just remember, I have to buy plane tickets, for example, stuff like that, which you would otherwise miss. Yeah, exactly. So I think reflection is very important, and journaling helps you reflect on those things. I would say it's similar to meditation, in a sense that you kind of see everything objectively and not from your subjective perception of, okay, I have to complete this task or this task or this task. Kind of zoom out, which the Stoics do. The Stoics are very good at zooming out and seeing where you stand into the world. And I think journaling helps with that,
Yeah, I think like, how do you think meditations and journaling are similar? Because I see meditations as something that can put you in the present. Because when you're meditating, the main idea, which is very hard, is just to avoid those distractions and not avoid them, but just to accept them, that they pass, and you focus on yourself now. You breathe in, or different types of meditations, but you just focus on the present. Well, journaling is also focusing on the present, but stopping from the crazy life and thinking of what you have now, like realizing what you have. While the other one is just zooming out and not zooming out, but like isolating yourself and just being by yourself, realizing that you're present.
Yeah, so I can explain how they are linked in my head. So would you say when you're journaling and when you're thinking about your life, would you say you think about it, you're seeing yourself from a third person perspective?
Yes and no, because it's if this is my life, like this whole circle. Journaling is like being in the middle and rotating to see everything that I have, because otherwise what it would have been is if I've jumped out of the bed, have breakfast, then come to your place and start like working, it would be just this aspect of it. Then you have family, you have this and this and this. Wow, this is what journaling provided me with.
Okay, I see. So for me, it's kind of I try to see myself from a third person perspective. So as I said, what the Stoics would do is just zoom out and kind of even like literally imagine you're zooming out of your body and seeing yourself in this building, and then thinking about, okay, what would you make this person do to move forward, So that's how I see it. So in my head, that's kind of disattaching myself from the ego, and it's very similar, like the way I feel while doing this is very similar to the way I feel when I meditate, because with meditation I also kind of disattach myself from the ego the same way. So that's how I see the link between the two, I would say, and in this particular aspect of the two.
Yeah, I mean, both have similar effect in a way, which is helping you to see things differently.
It clears your mind as well, I'd say.
Exactly, because if you remember, that's a point from a book which I did not finish because it was so complicated. What was like doing things about the RAM memory that you have. Do you remember? It was a book about the fact that you have how the brain works is that if you have something you have to do and you don't know what the next step is.
Is it thinking fast and slow?
No, it's not this one.
Okay.
I don't remember. We can link it afterwards. But the main idea of the book, which I opened, I started reading it. I was like, nope, this is too complicated. But there was one point which I remembered, which was that every single time you have to know the next steps or have this clarity, because otherwise you're gonna get, you're overheating because you're just thinking and nothing comes out of your actions. And when you journal, you get those next steps. It's like the clarity, and this clarity frees up your mind for action and to do more stuff.
Exactly. It's the same as Tim Ferriss and the productivity coach he had on his podcast. The guy was saying your brain is not a place to store all your tasks and what you have to do. Just because it sees its temporal perception is very wrong, because it always sees stuff as urgent, because that's how we evolved. Like usually before, the stuff that you had to do were immediate things you had to do. Exactly. While now we plan, the world is much more complicated. We have a lot more to do as well in terms of like tasks and their complexity. So what he was saying is just put them down, write them down somewhere. So that's how you clear your mind from them, because okay, I have to do this on this day, and that's how you clear your mind. And you lose anxiety in this way. And as you said, you find direction as well.
Anxiety. A point from Naval. Imagine how productive you would be if you were not anxious all the time.
Yeah, that's true. And also how much stuff that you would otherwise not do, you would do. And like, why? It's fear. That's fear.
And we're driven by fear. Like
we can be.
We're driven by avoiding fear.
Exactly. That's why Jordan Peterson was saying define your hell. Because if you define your hell, instead of putting your anxiety in front of you, you're putting it behind you. It pushes you. Because let's say you're scared of public speaking. I always use the public speaking example, but let's say you're scared of public speaking.
Come on, no, use another one.
Okay, let's say you're scared of speaking with girls, let's say.
Okay.
Then you think about it. What's going to happen if I don't flirt with girls? If I don't try to approach girls? What's going to happen? I probably won't be able to build a family, end up single, die alone, live a miserable life. So what do? You kind of define this. You specify it. You put it on paper. Then every time you're thinking about talking to a girl, you feel anxious. But you feel more anxious about not talking to girls just because you know what's going to happen if you don't talk to girls. So the fear of ending up alone is much bigger than the fear of talking with girls.
I love that.
It pushes you instead of blocking you.
Something that I did today with the journal, because that one of my goals now is to expand my network. And I've realized that I've been doing it for quite a time, like reaching out to people, meeting with them very successfully. And the first conversation goes very smoothly most of the time, not all the time. But afterwards, I don't do anything because I'm scared of pushing those people and them perceiving me as annoying. Wow. If I don't do anything and reach out to them, let's say to ask for an opportunity or to just, explore a bit more, I miss even more. Like I don't win. It's like a lose situation for me. So why not try and risk in order to avoid the bigger fear, which is in your case what you said, not have a family. In my case, unsuccessfully, whatever it is.
It's the same with salesmen. It's the same with sales.
Exactly.
When you call, you're always like, oh, I'm bothering these people and whatever. How I try to tackle this, by the way, is just because I did this sales course. I think it's also helpful. Once you have the information, knowledge from an external source, from someone experienced, as in the case with the sales course, you kind of start thinking of what would this guy do and what was his advice. For example, building rapport is like mirroring the other person. So I start thinking about what's their first sentence. If they're speaking very slow and phlegmatic, I would do the same. So instead of focusing on, I'm bothering them, I start thinking, okay, how can I do this the best way possible? So if someone like more direct, I guess I would be very direct with them, very straight. So yeah, I this helps me just thinking on this external knowledge and what would this person do in this situation.
Do you know that mirroring is from the book?
I know never split the difference. Yeah.
And do you know what the reason for mirroring being useful is? It's because when you mirror somebody, he feels safe because he's seeing somebody who's similar to him. Mm-hmm. So if you start, what mirroring, according to Chris Voss, is like, because yours is like more of like trying to completely be like them, which is good. But what he said is that use the last 3 words of everything that the other person is saying, and by doing so, repeating the same phrases, like words that are like something that I relate myself to. Let's say I use very often the word, problematically, and I say it when we speak with you, and you're going to use it. I'm going to be like, oh, this guy's like me, so I'm going to trust him more. And this is how with mirroring, using the last 3 words of a phrase, not all the time, like not repeating it every single time. It's just going to be like, wait, I just said it, no need to repeat it.
You just blocked repeating the same thing.
Yeah, it increases the feeling of safety, which is one of the basic needs of people. The other one is control. But by increasing this, feeling of safety, you have more impact.
But would you use it at the end of this? Like if, for example, using the...
Come on, say something. Let's say you're trying to sell me something.
To sell you something, or am I the one that you have to sell to?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's say I'm talking about, hello, man, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Not too bad. Today I cleaned my car.
Oh, you cleaned your car?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Yeah, I see what you mean.
So like, it's kind of like, it's not like question as well, but it's like clean your car, and you leave the part is silence. And also when you mirror it, now you're going to tell me more about it. So I gather more information and I use this information against you afterwards.
But is it against me or is it for me? Because I think this is also another thing that you have to do. You don't use it against the person, you use it for their benefit as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's against you because I'm trying to win, right? And
yes, but I think this is it's very important to not see it as a win for yourself, but a win for both parties. Because that's how you defeat anxiety in a different way. It even like helps you push if you see it as a win for both of them. So I would use these techniques just to make their life and my life better.
Yeah, this is what I try to sell them. And eventually, if you understand their perception and how things work, they're going to feel safe and in control, and they're making the decision by themselves. And of course, you're not going to mislead them by selling them a course for $7,000.
I might.
Which is a scam. Like, this is not going to work well. And the whole idea is that you understand more of what they want to do, and sometimes they might realize that they need your product by mirroring. Because let's say you meet your boss, he says, I want you to copy 5,000 copies for me. You're going to say 5,000 copies. It makes you think about it. No, I need one.
Okay.
So it's kind of like it makes your counterpart act in your favor as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a very good strategy. Like, this book is full of...
You're kind of incentivizing the other person to think on what they're saying as well.
Yeah.
And actively engaging with how the product can help them, for example, or if their problem is an actual problem that stops you from selling the problem. Because very often you would have people having objections, then you would repeat the objection, the person starts thinking, oh wait, for example, very often people say, I'm not interested, and you now think about it, you can say, oh, you're not interested. You start thinking, and then you ask why, and then they might explain why exactly.
Something, we're going a lot on the tangent stuff,
but I think that's fine.
But like, amazing thing is that when people say no, they don't do it because they have a rational objection to what you're saying. Yeah. They're saying because they want control. No, I don't want this. I'm the one who is bossing this. I'm the one who's deciding what I want. So no, I don't want your product or service or whatever it is. And Chris says this is the start of the conversation. Like, when you hear no, it's not the end. It's like the start, because then, he uses stuff like, it seems that you are not clear what the idea is.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not clear. What's the idea? And boom, you can potentially go to a sale.
Exactly. That's the same thing that in my sales course, I can link that as well. They were saying an objection is the thing that you want. That's what you should be looking for, because an objection, basically the other person tells you why they're declining. While if they just say no, let's say you don't ask, you don't engage, and you don't know why they're declining, so you cannot tackle it.
Yeah.
So for example, people often say, I'm not interested, and then I would ask why, and they wouldn't tell me why. So that makes it very hard, because you don't know the reason for their declining.
Yeah, but like in our case, when you phone somebody, it's like easier to hang up, so it's different.
It's very different. Yes. Yeah. If you're face to face, it's much easier, first of all, to build rapport. Once you enter and once you build rapport, for me, it's like very easy to get what I want unless there's something external, like, oh, we're closing tomorrow. That's when you can't do anything. But if there's an objection, it's very easy to handle the objection if you have the right answer, which we do most of the times, just because you've already built the rapport and you know what the objection is. But if you're on the phone, like as you said, very often people would decline straight away. Some of them would just hang up. And
they don't even listen.
Exactly. Because they don't see you. They just hear a voice. It's just another guy trying to tell them something. Yeah.
It's harder, and it happens very often.
Yeah, it's
cool.
Much difficult.
One more question, or I wanted to share something, which I think yesterday I was feeling very bad. I was gonna go to sleep.
Why?
I don't know. It was not my day. It was not
let's say it wasn't your day because of the day before.
But I think it was not your day either.
It wasn't my day.
There could be something which happened together. But I was gonna go to sleep, but then I said no. I'm gonna read a book for a bit, and I bought this book, The Atomic Habit, because I thought to myself that the extreme ownership, I started it. I read the first chapter and I left it there because sometimes I like to, when I'm not like fully engaged into the book, I like to leave it for a bit and then go back to it.
Yeah.
And it's like standing there on my nightstand. But now I have another book, The Atomic Habit. And I read like 40 pages of it. And I read the first chapter, which is it's a book about habits. And this guy, he suffered like a major injury. Like they hit him with a bat in between like his eyebrows, and his brain was damaged. Like he was about to die basically when he was, I don't know, 15, something like that. And afterwards he went back to baseball, but he was bad. Like he was dropped to the juniors team, and this was his main goal, to become good at baseball. And he said to himself, okay, I need to do something. And when he was this age, he started doing habits and building them. How he went through a lot when it comes to building habits, and this is why he wrote the book. He said that in order to write a book, you need to live it first. So he actually lived the book because he went through all these experiments. And he said that small improvements are very important, because if you have like 1 multiplied by 0.99, which is a decrease, it leads to like 365 days. It leads to you being almost close to 0. But 1% increase leads to you being like, just skyrocketing.
Because it's like every time the absolute number gets bigger with every iteration. So that's
And why it hit me is because sometimes when I do something, I might say to myself, okay, I do it now, but I'm not going to do it tomorrow. Let's say I'm on a diet and I eat something, or I have some work to do, but I say, okay, now I'm with my brother, with his girlfriend, we're going to watch a movie, so it's fine. But he said that those small 1% decreases, every single time you do something like that, it has major impact in 5 years. And the thing is that today they don't matter. Tomorrow they don't matter. But in the matter of like, time scale, they have major impact. So this made me realize that every single time I feel like it's something bad that I do is not going to have an impact on me, it has impact. It might be small today, but I'm going to repeat it tomorrow, next week. So eventually my improvement is so smaller compared to if I don't do all of these stuff. And sometimes it's okay. I'm not trying to be radical and avoid hanging out with friends, but it's just some of those stuff that you have something to do and you have the bad thing and you're like, oh, it's one time, it doesn't have to impact.
This is exactly what I might have repeated, I think, for the past 2 podcasts, that I think what makes exceptional people is
consistency.
Exactly, consistency. And when you're down, you still do the thing. Like it doesn't matter if you have the mechanisms to handle your mental state, your energy levels whatever it is, and you do the thing during the bad days. That's what I strongly believe in. Yesterday with the cold calls was the same. I was like, I didn't want to do that.
Exactly. And I didn't, because I was like, I don't feel in the mood. But like, if I did in the scale of yesterday, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But let's say I close one restaurant next week, and then I close another one because of all these calls, and in 3 months we have 50 restaurants, which is the goal.
Yeah.
But if I don't today, I might not do it in 2 days. I might not do it tomorrow. So it's like, it's 1%, but it's so big.
Yeah.
And I love this point because I'm a person who loves to see instant impact. You know this about me probably, but I do something and I expect to see instant results.
Same with me, yeah.
And I realized that with PP Network, our first company, I think this is something which pushed me at least to push even harder and to be doing those, like, I don't know, after university, 12 hours PP Network straight, like I wake up 6 a.m. to do something.
Yeah.
It's because we were seeing results. We had our first clients in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then another one came in, and it's something that I need to change my perception of, that things are not always working like that. Sometimes might do, or sometimes they might seem that they do, but the mindset of 1% decrease is very, very important.
Yeah, if you remember, I had a problem with doing small things. So I think it was the same with me. I wasn't doing small things because, first of all, it was this exactly. Very often you wouldn't see from the small things, you wouldn't see the impact immediately.
Yeah.
And second, like I would see them as bigger than they are, but precisely that the first reason is also something that would, even if they are in fact as big as you see them, you would still do them. So that's a very good point, I think. Yeah, I think people are programmed that we do stuff when we see meaning in them, and to see meaning we need to see the results. Exactly. So it's very hard to kind of learn yourself to push when you don't see immediate results. That's like one of the best things to teach your child is that instant gratification is not always the best thing.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if you know, I'll just briefly mention it. There's an experiment with children, and they leave a candy and they say, don't eat the candy, you're gonna get more candy if you don't eat this candy now.
Yeah.
Or it was just, I don't know if they told them there would be a prize at the end, but it was just don't eat the candy now.
Yeah.
And obviously if you eat the candy, you're going to be disappointing your parents. So there's still the incentive that comes after the immediate gratification of eating the candy. And what they noticed is that the kids that eat the candy, instead of waiting 20 years down the line, they're all doing worse off, lower income, some of them in prison, than the children that didn't eat the candy.
Yeah.
So this is just an example of 1.01, not eating the candy against eating the candy.
Yeah, because eating the candy today doesn't have any impact
on the kid.
The kid, yeah.
Apart from your parents scolding you or whatever. Yeah.
You didn't eat the candy or
the belt.
It's like All right, cool. I think we can wrap it up.
Cool beans.
Cool beans, as Kasper likes to say, but. Yeah, it feels good to be back on the podcasting.
Yeah, it was a very fluid episode as well. I liked it, yeah.
Yeah. And we have one mic, as you can see. Like, we see how it's going to work, but...
Yeah, hopefully...
We received a lot of criticism last time. Oh, was this sound engineering? And like, come on, man. Cool. Yeah. So...
That's it. Thank you for watching. Participate in the giveaway if you want to win a book. It's literally, we're giving a books like this. So everyone that participates, so... Do participate.
It's not to everyone. It's like, so...
No, but this episode it was, so maybe next episode.
Yeah, so well. Stefan and Kauyan, get in touch with us and...
we'll get in touch with you.
Yeah.
We're the ones that take initiative.
Yeah, so we're taking extreme ownership of the situation.
Exactly, yeah.
And we have the responsibility to reach out to people to give them the books because,
it's our giveaway, yeah.
Yeah, it's our giveaway. And what's the giveaway? You have to leave in the comments who your role model is or somebody who you admire and why. It could be very brief, but it could be one sentence.
Exactly.
Cool. So
as I said, thank you for watching and see you in the next episode. Hopefully sooner than this one.
Yeah, it will be. We're taking ownership of this as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.